Welcome back to the University of Life Writing Center. We're now covering Chapter 7 of the Art and Craft of Writing, Rhetoric. Sorry, there's 3 chapters on Rhetoric. Pathos. You can pronounce it Pathos, Pathos, whatever you want. Anyway, this relates to the emotional aspect of writing, right? But in saying that, I think it kind of can be a little bit misleading, because sometimes when we say emotional, we think of like the strong emotions. Oh, it made me mad, it made me laugh, I got really bored, right? But there are so many more, like, oh, I was interested, I followed it, or it was kind of some work to follow, okay? So the way I like to express it to clearly encapsulate all these different emotional aspects is ask yourself about your paper, how do readers experience my paper, my writing? All right, and here's a big list, in fact, of possible answers. Interesting, objective, funny, aggravating, sarcastic, naive, cruel, forceful, quirky, fair, juvenile, passionate, urgent, inspiring. Okay, tons of different ways people can react to your writing. There are kind of like 3 different groups of ways you can make sure you have good pathos. First one is to have good logos. If you have good, clear organization that people can follow, if your claims are strong and clear and supported well so people accept them, then it's going to be a stronger effect on them, right? And if you're biased and unorganized and confusing, they're going to be pissed off they had to read your paper, right? Especially if it's your teacher. And how do you think that's going to influence your grade? So have good logos. That's the number one most important thing for having good pathos. The last way to have good pathos is to do good editing. Catch your typos. Make sure you know how to spell 2, 2, and 2. There, and there. Right? Fix your sentence fragments, unless you're doing that on purpose and effectively for your style. Don't leave a bad impression and make people think you weren't careful about your writing. In between the first and last, in between the logos and the editing, there are a host of methods you can use to create good pathos. And here are some of them. Plan clear organization, use maybe transitions, maybe even headers so people can really follow where you're going. Make that easy, the information go easy into their head. Most people will appreciate that. Select a good strategy that gains and maintains interest and cooperation. Add quotations from research for credibility and variety. Use different writing tools like values, descriptive writing, action verbs, comparisons, rhythm, humor, etc. There's chapters on each one of those elsewhere in the book. Here's a good way to explain pathos too. Think of pathos as flavor. Is it light and sweet, and does it melt on the tongue? Or is it thick and tough, requiring plenty of mental chewing before it can be swallowed? So just think about it. Now, you write something, look at it and say, how do people experience this? Can I make it better for whatever my audience wants? And think of it that also, like good pathos for one audience might be terrible for someone else. So you're going to have to read some papers, some articles that might be really dense and huge words and big sentences, and you have to read a sentence like 3 times before it even makes sense to your brain until you get used to that style. And you might say, this article has terrible pathos. And you'd be right if you're talking about you as the audience. But maybe this article was written for doctors or scientists, engineers who understand that dense stuff, and maybe they like it that way. Maybe it adds more credibility because the author was following a convention that we've kind of accepted as more serious and objective. So for them it might be okay, pathos. For you, terrible. So just before you say it has bad pathos, make sure you clarify the audience as well. It's going to be effective for some and not for others. Anyway, that's it. Oh, last piece of advice. Some of your professors want you to be all serious and objective, and if you don't, it could hurt your grade. Others may appreciate a little bit of humor in there, and if you judge your professor to be one of those, then if you give a little lighter pathos, they'll probably appreciate it, and if they have a better experience with your paper, it might influence your grade as well for the better. But remember, your thinking, your quality of thinking shouldn't be sacrificed just because you told a good joke. All right, that's it. Have fun. Good luck. Go here for more information and examples.